Hello, YouTube. This is an alcohol review of Yellowbird Tennessee Straight Whiskey. According to the label, aged 4 years, 750 ml bottle, 45% alcohol by volume, 90 proof from the Volunteer State. When I was much younger, it was one of my stomping grounds, was Tennessee. Still have kin there. According to the label on the back, and airplanes flying overhead. This is dedicated to the coal miners, but mainly to the canary that they carried with them. Proceeds from the purchases go to the National Auburn Society. And for a few of those who may not know, in coal country, Appalachia, old stomping grounds, they would take a canary with them into the mines. Canaries small, canaries breathe, people big. A little bit of poison in the air from natural gas or anything else, carbon dioxide levels too high, would kill the canary. This acted like a living, breathing alarm system. Because when the canary was dead, something was going to get you next. So you left. Or otherwise prepped. And that's what they've dedicated this little guy to. They mentioned also about coal miners and that sort of tradition in Appalachia. And to be honest, you hear a lot of them, well, you hear on television a lot of them screaming and yelling about how renewables is destroying their jobs and so forth and so on, when it's not renewables, it's technology. Why have a man go down into a small hole when you can have a robot do it for you? So technology is taking our jobs. And synthetic cork with a wood top, got a paper band on it. Band just simply states what's on the bottle. It's Tennessee whiskey. Now, somebody out there will know this question to this, know this answer, will know the answer to this question. I love that sound. And I'll have to look it up just for my own curiosity, but what is the difference between Tennessee whiskey and, say, Kentucky? Well, with this particular one, it is a wonderful caramel brown, heavy yellow notes. I'll do a swirl test here. If you don't know, and it's no big deal. The swirl test is to get a line across the top, and when it starts to get these crags that come down, and those tears or legging. Tears is the squiggle runs down. Legging because the legs aren't straight. The faster it tears, the less sugar there is in solution. Why is there sugar in solution? Oh, it's all part of the distillation process. Sometimes you get a lot out of it, sometimes you don't. And if there is a lot of sugar in, that will visually give you a hint that it will be thick on the palate because it's got we call it syrup, but it's on a syrup-y level. It also means that it should be sweet to the taste, or sweeter. And it does tear. It does tear strongly, if that's a way to say it, but not a large amount. Promising that this will be on the thicker side, possibly on the sweeter side. Now, unfortunately, I've come across many whiskeys in which it looks like it's going to be thick as syrup and turns out not at all. So it's a nice visual. It'll give you a prediction, but not always accurate. Nice nose. Fruit notes, lemon, peaches, caramel, vanilla. It wants to bite, it wants to burn, but there isn't any. It's toothless. But light. Excuse me. Almost Irish whiskey light. Well, that's the nose. Now, just because it looks one way, just because it smells one way, doesn't mean it's going to taste that way. So the true test. That's not bad. It burns like mad. But not bad. Orange, peaches. Heavy caramel. Vanilla. A little bit of smokiness is in there. Strong flavors all the way around with a long hang time. Which probably explains why the shortage of legging for tears. It doesn't want to stick. Yeah, long hang time, still there. The burning, though, in the initial sips, there's a lot of burning. But nothing... Burning isn't all that bad. With burning and bite comes youth. This is a 4-year-old. As whiskeys go on the shelf, that is youngish. Think teenager. Okay, teenage whiskey. There's a lot younger out there. To a point that there's actually laws stating how young it can be for it can be called whiskey. And I believe 4 years is outside of that range, but not by much. I'd have to do some research again on that to re-establish that time, but still. It's young, but not that young. And with that, you get less bite, less burn. It does have burning there. The initial sips, like I said, very, very much so. But it does... It's not like many others. That you swear your face is on fire. It's just too much. Too obtrusive. In your face, burning. This is more like the burning kind of accompanies with the rest of the flavor. Now, was that... Well, burning fades pretty quick. Usually it doesn't. That has very little burn on that. As for a bite, no bite at all, which is good. Now, a smooth, smooth whiskey has almost no burn or no bite at all. The first couple sips, yeah, pretty bad. It'll chew you up, but after that, it lets you go. It's it quits humping your leg pretty fast. All around, not bad. Now, normally, I would try to stay away from things like ice. When you add ice to your whiskey, your spirit, it tends to take all the sharp edges off, which this does have a lot of edges on it, and would go very well with the ice. Ice would shave them all down, and probably would make this even a better sipping whiskey yet. But ice tends to muddy things down, not because it's just cold water. The cold tends to screw with the flavors, that your tongue is receiving. And without ice, you get all the different layers. Now, this does have some layers to it, and it should be appreciated. Adding the ice would knock that out largely, but it would take a lot of those edges off at the same time. So you as an individual will have to weigh out, does it get ice or does it not get ice, so it's not ruined. Those sharp edges can ruin it for some pallets. This is really on the fence of whether I find this offensive to my palate because of all the sharp edges it has. So I'm leaning towards ice. Otherwise, don't put ice in it. But like I said, see with your palate. It's got good body. Lots of flavor. Strong upfront flavors. I would have to say this is a good fall, spring type of whiskey. It may have enough chops to get through a winter. It's too heavy for any kind of summer. So don't be thinking you're going to be sitting there on the back porch watching the sun go down at 110 degrees sipping this stuff. And I would not recommend it. But watching the leaves fall, after raking the yard, just getting a good sweat going, and having this to help as a nice reward for your labors, might go well. As for a cocktail, it's got enough strength and backbone behind it. I think it would make a nice cocktail whiskey as well. I understand that cocktail whiskey is a bit more lower shelf, and this stuff was a lot more mid-grade when it came to the pricing, if not a little bit on the higher, well, can't say that. Whiskeys can run for extremely amount of money that I would never in my day would pay for such a silly thing. I know. What are you going to do? But she ranks about $30-some at the time of the taping of this video. And that, when you compare it to like Jack Daniels or Wild Turkey or something else along that line, it is a lot steeper than those particular bourbons. But then again, the quality is much higher, much better than those particular whiskeys. So it is worth the price of admission. One of my favorite sayings. And I would have to say, I think it leans towards more of a cocktail whiskey than a sipping. But I don't know. Tomorrow I might change my mind. It's on the fence. Give it a try. See what you think. This is Yellow Bird, 4 years aged Tennessee whiskey, dedicated to the Canaries who cannot speak for themselves. Poor things. But go out. Forget my ending here. Anything down below written about this particular product, you only accept it as always. Or better yet, go out, buy it, try it yourself, and go on to the YouTube Spirits community and let us know what you think of this particular product. What it's worth our money. Our money is getting smaller and smaller these days. We need people to give us a heads up on some of these products. We know not to waste our cash on. This one, I say try it. I don't know if this will be common on everybody's bar, but at the same time, I don't think it's a waste of money either. It's back again on the fence. Let me know what your call is on this. And as always, keep on drinking.